What's up, guys? MainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always, and I'm gonna do another yap topic of the day. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Tag 2 and how the commercial failure of Tag 2 almost made it so that we didn't get Tekken 7. You have a game you're cherishing today above any other game, you know, celebrating Season 3. 2 years after release, it has more traction than ever, almost, it feels like. You know, bigger prize pool in Tekken World Tour. Season 3 had what, 8,000 to 9,000 people playing it on release, which is the highest Steam chart numbers Tekken 7 has had since launch. The highest it's had since not even July of 2017, like the month after the launch had those types of numbers. This is what people have told me, at least, and it's doing really well. But yeah, this is incredibly sobering. Listen to this. I found it very interesting.
I'm always grateful to the arcade guys because Tekken after Tag 2, you know, it was for the hardcore Tekken fans. So obviously, sales-wise, it didn't do anywhere near what 7 did. Internally, you know, Harada and I got a lot of flack. It was kind of difficult to make a new Tekken. They were willing to take a chance and say, hey, okay, we'll fund making a new Tekken for Tekken 7, that is. So I know, you know, it's always tough to not have arcades in your region, etc., but because of them, it is how we were able to jumpstart the franchise. So, I mean, I always have some respect for those guys.
So I find that very interesting to hear because I knew Tag 2 didn't do well. I knew it had sold 1.5 million copies, and I knew that the game preceding it, Tekken 6, sold 3.5. But the 3.5 of Tekken 6 was still a step down from Tekken 5. Tekken 5 sold like 6 million copies, and Tekken 5 DR, because Tekken 5 was PS2, but then they released the expansion Dark Resurrection on PS3, and that sold 2 million copies. So Tekken 5 in total, if you add them up, is 8 million. And then Tekken 6, 3.5 million. That's still very solid. But then Tag 2, 1.5 million copies. That's not even half of what Tekken 6 did. You actually have to double Tag 2, the numbers of Tag 2, double them and add 500,000, and then you're at Tekken 6 numbers. So as he said there, Harada and Murray got a lot of flack internally at Bandai Namco for Tag 2. Due to the sales, you know, 1.5 million. Did you know that only Tekken 1 is the game that has sold less than Tag 2? Tekken 1 sold 1 million copies on PS1. And then it's basically Tag 2. Those are the worst selling Tekken games. And Tekken 1 you can kind of forgive, you know. But, so internally, you know what? We're gonna watch matches here. JDCR versus Knee as I'm talking. So internally they got, and I'm gonna take this down a little bit more. So internally Murray and Harada get a lot of flack at Bandai Namco. Harada, of course, being the director of the Tekken series. So he takes all of the creative decisions. And Murray, now being chief producer, I think, used to be the art director, I think, since 2001. So he's been with them for a long time now. But a lot of people are a little bit naive with this sort of stuff. They think that we're always gonna get new Tekken games, you know, and Harada makes the calls. But no, Bandai Namco they have, like any company, a board of directors who decide, you know, what the company is going to do. And games, of course, have the budget, you know, on a Tekken game. It's a lot of money, you know. So when they see that Tekken 5 and then Tekken 6, big step down, and then Tag 2 only 1.5 million copies, they of course see a trend. And then Tag 2, it sold so bad that could it even justify its budget? You know, because Tag 2, I mean, how many characters? All the characters actually had CG endings. You don't have that in Tekken 7. And customization was kind of ambitious. You had Fight Lab. I think there was a lot of work that went into Tag 2, you know, and probably pretty beefy budget, and then seeing only 1.5 million sales. So Murray and Harada get a lot of flack, and as Murray said, you know, they had to convince them to make a new Tekken game to try and reboot the franchise with Tekken 7, and that was a hard thing to do. So to me, it's just sobering to realize just how close we were to Tag 2 being the final installment of the Tekken series. So with Tekken 7, you know, coming from the failure of Tag 2, they felt they really had to change things up, and that's what they did. You know, Tag 2 was overly complicated, and a lot of people, you know, especially on FGC forums, say that a big no-no is to dumb down games, but that's what they did quite a bit with Tekken 7, you know, especially the Okiseme. And of course this tag mechanic that was so complicated. So they made stuff easier, added a lot of visuals that were very pleasing, you know, Unreal for the graphics, and post-effect filters, great idea. The slow-mo is incredible, the explosions when the characters hit each other, rage art, rage drive, you know, a lot of effort to please the casual crowd and make Tekken a more visually pleasing game, which is of course going to help it become a spectator sport, you know, an esport. So they made a lot of amazing decisions. And now, as of March of this year, Tekken 7 is actually up to 4 million sales. And that was in March. You know, it's incredibly impressive. And that is what has been the factor and the... what's it called? The bargaining... No, the argument Harada has presented probably to the board of directors, saying we should release more content, we should have updates every year, you know, season 1, season 2. We thought season 2 was going to be the last, but he probably argued that, well, season 2 has sold a lot, can we do a season 3? And Harada, well, due to the success of the game, has been able to convince, I think, the higher-ups at Bandai Namco that we can keep producing and evolving Tekken 7, which, Jesus Christ, are those knee sideburns? God, I love Hippie Knee is the best. He should come back. But, so yeah, it's... I'm having so much fun now with Tekken 7, you know, and this whole streaming thing and the community the game has built, you know, Tekken 7, that it's a little bit frightening thinking that it was so close to not happening due to this game. But it is, of course, a game that a lot of people really like, and there are a number of people who see this as their favorite Tekken game. This is probably the Tekken game I like the least. But I'm not, that's what I'm talking about, the modern Tekken game. Yeah, Tekken 7, 4 million sales, very impressive. I wonder where it's going to end up, because Season 3 has just been released a week ago, and we still have content to be released. They've had a lot of success now with the design of Leroy Smith. A lot of characters, a lot of people really enjoy that design, and I think he's going to be, this is my guess, I'm speculating here, but probably the most popular original character in many years. Due to the design being so strong, they would have to really fuck up his gameplay for people not to have interest in it. I just think characters like Lucky, Chloe, Claudio, Katarina, Leo, Miguel, I think they are all going to pale in comparison to Leroy. And it's also really cool that he's using the, well, Ip Man way of fighting, is Wing Chun. It looks really cool in the trailer, the animations were great. Well, what we saw, was that a wind pose or a rage art? Probably something like that. But So Tekken 7 is far from done. You know, Leroy proven to be a hit, but can he live up to it when he's released? And then you have two more characters, one stage and one feature. Of course, I did a review on season 3, so if you want to know my thoughts, you know, check that out. But I'm very positive towards it. It looks great. Tekken 7.5, pretty much. So yeah, I'm just really happy we got Tekken 7, and again, scary to think that we, just due to this game, it might not have happened. And what a great job they did revitalizing the series. They did it so perfectly with Tekken 7, when you think about it. Every call they made, every decision was correct. So hats off to Murray and Harada, and they did not end the Mishima Seiga in Tekken 7 as we thought they would. So, and with the success of the game, should get a Tekken 8, but of course we're still with Tekken 7 and it's doing very strong. So yeah, I'm not eager to hear about Tekken 8. I just love Tekken 7 so much. But yeah. God damn it, Tag 2. And I'm so happy Tag 2 ended. Fuck, the last 2 years with that game, I was in misery. When Tekken is the only game you play and you only have access to an iteration of a game you really dislike, and you know the next one's years away, it was very frustrating. But yeah, good shit. So I hope you enjoyed this little talk here. I think it's really interesting, and yeah, it's nice to finally hear Murray or Harada, you know, talk a little bit about the subject. So yeah, very insightful. So thanks for listening to me, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.